Good morning, everybody. Danny here, the Wicked Awesome Gardener, coming at you from a field trip. This is kind of an impromptu video, and I'm probably not going to give a lot of editing to it. I'll probably just throw it right up online. But I am here in the Beverly, Massachusetts community garden up on Cole Street, and I'm just walking around, and there's nobody here this morning, which is odd because normally it's a very bustling, busy place. I take a walk through here most days during the week because my other job is a nanny and we like to take a walk as we go past. But I figured that I would go through and just kind of show you this awesome community garden, all the different styles we have going on here. There's a really big variety of different ways to garden, so I figured I would just show you. All right. This is pretty neat. We have a lot of these gardens are small and some of them are larger. Some's just a few beds, some are big, like 20 by 20 square foot plots. A lot of them have already been out here working. As you can hear, there are birds everywhere. A lot of them have fences up already to keep deer and rabbits and things out of the gardens. Here we have someone who's gardening in these little mounds, and I'm not really sure what type of gardening you would call that, but it looks pretty cool. And this is a neat trellis idea for the peas. It looks like a Florida weave, like you'd use to trellis tomatoes or cucumbers. It's a pretty neat idea for trellising peas. And then over there it looks like they will stake up their tomatoes. But they've already got all sorts of greens and leafy vegetables starting to come up in those mounds. You see, some people have definitely been here starting to add soil. A lot of people have garlic coming up. And again, here's something kind of like the other ones where they're growing in these mounds, but they have straw down. And similar here, but more spaced apart. Again, a lot of people really haven't started planting in earnest, but they've got their fences set up. This person has a few different trellises going on. You've got some fence panel here, staked into the ground. You've got this that's kind of leaning at an angle and supported there, and more of a teepee type trellis. That's pretty cool. Oh, look at their garlic. And they're growing in these raised beds, but without walls, I guess. I mean, that's pretty neat. It's different. Got a lot going on down here in this one. Looks like he's been out here and very busy. I see him all the time out here, and I haven't really gone down to look at it. And that's more of that growing in little hills, but also some raised beds. That's pretty cool. I like how this one, it's one big bed, but they've left it separated by some of that little flower there. And I don't know what it is, but it's all over the place on the ground here. Maybe some of you can tell me what this is. But it's everywhere. Also spread out a lot on the ground here is mint. Even though it's not in the beds, it just spreads and it's everywhere. This one's using square foot gardening. You can see how they've got the grid going. Here we have some long raised beds and a couple different trellises. Again, you've got that structure down the end. There's some peas underneath it. And if you can see there, there's also a bit of fence panel. I wonder what they'll trellis on that. Maybe some cucumbers. A lot of people have straw bales that just they haven't spread around yet. Wonder what those boxes are for. Oh, they're probably to protect against cool temperatures. Oh, and I kind of like the designs that they have on here, just kind of made with rags in the chicken wire. Got some chard, lettuce, oh, and more peas here with, again, more fence panel, just kind of bent around. Some more raised beds. That plastic rolled fencing for a trellis. So much creativity, so many different styles. Here they've just got some beds dug around and straw down everywhere they haven't planted yet. This looks like a nice herb garden. Some purple basil, sage. They got their leafy greens over there. This I think is cool. They've got straw used for the paths through the garden, and then they've got their beds dug out. Just kind of gives a nice pattern. And this one they've differentiated the various beds with rocks. And you can see they're using sticks for trellises. That person has a raspberry bramble at the end of their bed. They really have not done anything with this year yet, so they just might not have gotten started yet. They look like they're getting ready to get started. They've got some soil delivered. I mean, it's only the first week of May, so people are just starting to get into the swing of things up here. This is Zone 6B in northeastern Massachusetts. Oh, we've got some stuff going on here. Look at that strawberry bed. Oh, yes. Oh, and all those leafy greens. The marigolds he's got in this year. This entire bed was covered in that little purple flower last week. So they've done a lot of work here to get rid of that. There's another raspberry bramble over there. Look at all that garlic. That's awesome. So you can see, like I said, that purple flower is everywhere. I like this one. They've built the garden with these mounds, and they've got that teepee of just long sticks that they are using to support their peas. And you know how much that cost them? Nothing. Ha ha ha. Here's another trellis made of pieces of fence post. Oh, their peas are looking good in there. Their peas are looking good. I like this garden. I've been watching him build this, and he even built this cool door. He's got his peas coming up, garlic, all sorts of things in those hills. I like this plot over here too. You can see they've got a trellis there, and it looks like they're going to use it for peas. You can see they're coming up, and they'll go up that trellis there. I wonder what they'll put on the other side. They've got a nice little corner of herbs. Got a bunch of oyster and clam shells down. Really cool. This person has a chair. I like that. Need a good chair out in your garden just so you can sit there and look at it and enjoy it. And now we've come full circle, and that is the Beverly Community Gardens. There are a couple other locations like this around the city. I just love this. I love to get to see so many different styles of gardening, and I also love that they're giving people the opportunity to garden who probably wouldn't otherwise. They rent an apartment, or they just don't have a big enough yard to do it. Oh, this guy's got a hoop house with seedling trays underneath it. So they must be working on hardening some things off. Oh, All right, one last look around on this cloudy day. Probably everybody was out here for the gorgeous weather yesterday, and now they're taking today off. Well deserved. All right, guys, thanks for coming along while we do this alternative garden tour, and hopefully I'll see you in our next video while we grow some wicked awesome food from yard to table. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please click here for more content. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date on our latest videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited to go through this journey with you while we grow something wicked awesome from yard to table.